20 Faces of Grief bereavement cards for use with individuals and/or a group session to aid in reflection and understanding of individual manifestations of emotions that commonly accompany grief and loss. They are not all inclusive, but do represent the majority of emotions that most grievers experience in the weeks, months, and years following a significant loss in one's life. Watch and pause at each facial portrait and write down what emotion that you think the portrait is trying to convey. Watch and pause the next frame to read what emotion that the artist was trying to represent in the portrait and his explanation. Repeat and go through all 20 faces of grief. When through, compare notes of your reflection with that of the artist's intent and that of others, if in a group setting. Before you go through the cards individually, I recommend watching the video portion with music that quickly displays each portrait with the soundtrack of the sounds of silence. Nosce te ipsum is Latin for know thyself, your best resource in healing. These are the 20 Faces of Grief created by grief influencer Mitch Carmody of Heartlight Studios for grievers of all ages. Turn on your Heartlight.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more, people talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs and voices never shared, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fool said I, you do not know, silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you, take my arms that I might reach you, but my words like silent of silence.
The emotions listed for each portrait that follow are from the artist who created them. Verso 1. Shock. Shock is a twofold emotion. First, it can be that scream of terror that vibrates from your bones when you know or hear that your loved one has died. It rocks your world. You scream, "No, this cannot be happening," to anyone and everyone. Secondly, shock is the ongoing numbness that gives us the ability to even function. Shock is a fundamental survival tool of the human psyche that will last as long as it is needed to get done what is necessary for one's survival. 2. Loneliness. Loneliness is that profound feeling of missing them, that deep-seated feeling of wanting them back at our side, to hear them, see them, and to touch them. Loneliness is where your heart and soul is surrounded with continual thoughts and memories of who our loved one was in our life. Loneliness can be felt physically, where your body actually aches for their presence, and you wish you could turn back the clock. Loneliness can bring with it sadness, melancholia, and/or depression. 3. Fear. Fear is that emotion that resonates from the core of our being, that natural survival tool that can elicit the flight or fight response. We either run from our fear or we fight it. It is a primal instinct. We have fear of forgetting, fear of an uncertain future, fear for the lives of our other loved ones, fear of losing our own sanity, fear of more pain, fear of not being in control. Fear can be a catalyst for anger, rage, and self-isolation. 4. Anguish. Anguish is that emotion of extreme agony and pain that one feels in accepting the reality of the loss or news of the loss. Anguish is our heart and soul moaning, and may bring with it despair and anxiety. Anguish can produce a gut-wrenching paroxysm that cripples our resolve and racks our bodies with the very real physical pain of loss. 5. Hope. We as humans have the unique capacity among living life forms to cultivate hope. We can project into the future a longed-for outcome. Hope can be rather elusive early on in the grief journey, and not even entertained or longed for in many cases. But hope is natural, a part of our psyche, and it will try to sneak its way into our consciousness despite our attempt to keep it at bay. Hope is looking for and seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. Without hope, there can be no peace.
Summary 5. Hope we as humans have the unique capacity among living life forms to cultivate hope. We can project into the future a longed-for outcome. Hope can be rather elusive early on in the grief journey, and not even entertained or longed for in many cases. But hope is natural, a part of our psyche, and it will try to sneak its way into our consciousness despite our attempt to keep it at bay. Hope is looking for and seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. Without hope, there can be no peace.